Hello everybody, thank you for joining today. My name is Patricia Preston and I am one of the demonstrators here in the group, and I am coming to you to showcase one of the best, I think, one of the best suites and showcase the best in color colors I have seen in a long time. So if you're on watching, just let us know that you're here. We are happy that you have joined us today in this day of crafting. And let's get started. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to make. We're going to be making a little tea bag holder. And you can see this fits 4 tea bags, but you're going to be able to modify this, probably add a couple other tea bags in here as well. And you can design it however you like. There's just a plethora of papers and colors and all sorts of things. So I've decided to use the teacup as a closure, but you can certainly modify that as well. You can use a magnet, you can use a Velcro dot, you can use simply other decoration. And this is how it opens up and it works. So it's a little concertina. And like I said, these pouches can actually fit 2 tea bags in each and probably still close. I'm using Twinings tea bags. They measure about 2 5/8 by 3 inches. So there is a little bit of wiggle room in here if you have a little bit wider of a tea bag, but pretty simple to modify. And this is a great little pick-me-up gift for a thank you or a teacher gift or end of year gift, birthday, you name it. I would love to receive one of these, and they're so easy to make. You're gonna be amazed. So this idea originally came from Sam Hammond. You probably know her as Poodles. So I did modify it just a little bit. I took one of her older patterns and one of her newest patterns for the actual tea bag, and kind of put the two ideas together to get what I wanted. So let me just showcase you, or show you in the catalog. We are working from the annual catalog from May 2022 through April 2023. This is our latest catalog that just came out. And I'm going to be using the Tea Boutique suite here. That's on page 12 and 13. Make sure I'm here in my camera. We've got a wonderful stamp set. Cup of tea. It's a photopolymer stamp set, so we love those, right, because we can see. And then of course the matching die set, and that is a I forget how many pieces are in here. I've got my other paperwork. 17 dies in here that coordinate with this stamp set. A couple other pieces that I'm going to be using from this set is going to be the designer series paper that you see here on this page. Lovely patterns, colors. It's got all the new in colors and then some of our standard old annual catalog colors. Just beautiful patterns. I love this pack of paper. So we're going to be using some paper out of here. A couple other things I wanted to show you that go with this set. We're not necessarily going to be using them in this project, but these beautiful, this is the Tea Boutique cards and envelopes. You can certainly make a coordinating card. So you've got your card bases in every single color of the new in color patterns. And of course, look at these beautiful envelopes. Love those envelopes. Even has some detail here on the edging on the back side. So lots of really beautiful things. I just absolutely love this suite, and I love the in colors to go with it. Now, you'll notice that on my sample here, I didn't use the Tea Boutique paper because I don't like to waste paper. I like to make sure that when I am figuring things out, that I am using and getting the most out of my paper. And yes, I do keep scraps, but the bigger the scrap, the better I feel. So I felt like when I did this sample, I actually used the another one of my favorites that showcase beautiful colors. I'm sure you've seen lots of projects. This is the Hues of Happiness Designer Series paper. And the only reason I chose this was because it was in a 12 by 12 sheet versus the 6 by 6 paper pack of the Tea Boutique. You can make this project with one sheet of 12 by 12. All right. But the way we're going to make it, I'm going to make it with you today, is we need 3 to 4 sheets of 6 by 6. So I'm a little stingier when it comes to my 6 by 6 paper, knowing that I only have 4 of each design. So I had to make sure that what I chose and how I made my what we're gonna make together, I actually had enough designer series paper out of the 6 by 6 sheets. So my sample one was done with the Hues of Happiness in a 12 by 12. And like I said, you can do this project with 4 tea bags and then the cover using 1 sheet of 12 by 12 paper. So I don't know, it's just the way I think, and maybe it's just silly, but that's what I did. All right. There's also some beautiful ribbon in those new in colors. And we won't be using these today, but you can certainly add those on as an embellishment to this pack if you wanted to tie a ribbon around it to close it instead of using one of the die cuts that we use. Those are also another beautiful option. Okay, so we've got, let's get started on making this super cute tea bag holder. All right. And here are the beautiful in colors. There. Let's move this out of the way. We're not going to be doing a whole lot of stamping other than this little tag on the front. So not a whole lot. And a piece of lemon. So what you're going to need is you're going to need that stamp set if you want to add some stamped sentiments on. And of course you're going to need the die cut set called Teacup Dies. All right, for your paper, I've mapped this out to hopefully make it a little bit easier for you guys. And we're going to start with a piece that is the actual cover. I'm going to bring this back in so we can kind of use this as a guide. Hopefully this is in my frame here. Oops. Hang on a minute. Okay. All right. I don't want to hear me. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Sorry about that, guys. And technical difficulties, so bear with me for a second here. All right, so the cover is going to be 11 inches by 3 1/4, and we're going to score it at the 3 1/2 inch mark, 4 3/4, 8 1/4, and 9 1/2. So I know some of you, when you watch a video, just like I do, you want to take a snapshot of that. So this is going to be the cover, the outside, and we're going to bring in, you can either use your Stampin' Trimmer, or you're going to, you can use your Simply Scored, which I absolutely, this is probably one of my favorite tools in the Stampin' Up catalog. So put that here so that you can see. And we're just going to score on the long side. So on the 11-inch side, we're going to score at 3 1/2. 4 3/4, 8 1/4, and 9 1/2. Pretty simple. And we are going to need another piece of cardstock. This is going to be the Concertina mechanism that we are going to attach our tea bags to. So this little piece down here. So I made it matching the base of my cardstock. So I'm using Tahitian Tide. And that is going to measure 3 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to score it at every 1/2 inch on the long side or the 4-inch side. So we're going to score it on the 4-inch side at a 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 1 1/2, 2, 2 1/2, 3, and 3 1/2 inches. We're going to set that aside. For your DSP, you're going to need, for the cover, you're going to need 3 pieces. One for the top, one for the front flap, and one for the bottom flap. And those measure 3 inches by 1 inch, 3 inches by 1 1/4 inches, and 3 inches by 1 3/4 inches. Now, if you do something like what I did here, I actually had patterned paper that was all one sheet. So you can see how I made sure that it kind of lined up as it flows down over the tea bag holder. So just keep that in mind and make sure that, you know, you're cutting, if you have an orientation to your paper, that you're cutting that appropriately. All right, so that's my cover. And then to make the tea bags inside, we need 4 pieces of DSP that measure 6 inches by 4 inches. And we're going to score those on the 4-inch side. We're going to score it at a 1/2 inch and 3 1/2 inches. And then we're going to turn it and we're going to score on the 6-inch side. We're going to score it at 3 inches. So I've done 2 of those already. So let's score 2 of them together. I'm going to do alternating patterns on my tea bags. So 2 of them are going to be this yellow, and then 2 of them are going to be the teapot pattern. So you can choose any pattern that you like, all the same, different, whatever floats your boat. So again, on the 4-inch side, we're going to score at a 1/2 inch and 3 1/2 inches. And then we're going to turn it and score it on the long side, the 6-inch side, at 3 inches. Do my second piece, 1/2 inch, 3 1/2, turn it and score it at 3 inches. And I've already scored these 2 pieces to save a couple minutes. All right. So that is all of our scoring and all of our paper needs. So let's start putting this together. You're going to need either Stampin' Seal Plus. You can certainly use multi-purpose glue if you're a favorite of that, or tear and tape, but you definitely want a strong adhesive, so more than just Stampin' Seal. And my kitty cat Rookie wants to join in on the fun. So your choice of adhesive, just make sure that it is a strong one. So I'm going to be using tear and tape for this project. And let's work on the base first. I bring in my bone folder, and we're just going to fold and burnish on those score lines. Just like that. And we're going to bring in the Concertina piece, and we're going to fold and burnish each of those. This is probably one of my favorite things to do, is fold and burnish paper. Is that kind of crazy or what? All right. Now, this is really simple to put together. So we're going to take our tear and tape, and you can see that it you know, you've folded and burnished it. Turn it on the opposite side, and you're going to apply some tear and tape on each end of the concertina. And then you're going to find one of the middle pieces. So these two are the middle. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Either 4 in from the left or 4 in from the right. It doesn't matter. Just pick one and put some adhesive on that, because we're going to fold that together. And I like to take my bone folder and burnish my tear and tape. And we're going to take the adhesive off the ends. And simply fold it back to make a nice pretty edge. And burnish that down again. And then you're going to take the middle piece, you're going to take that tear and tape off, and you're going to fold it in half. All right, now what makes this little mechanism is you're just going to straighten it out and pull up the edges so that you have something that looks like this. Either a W or an upside down M, however you want to however you want to see it. So this is what's going to go in the bottom of that cover. So we're going to put tear and tape on that, on those two pieces. Okay, so we've got the two ends that fold up, so we've got a nice pretty finish. This is the side that's finished. And bring this back in. You can see how it's here. Right, so we've got a nice finished edge on each one of these. And then we've got the tear and tape on the back. So before we add this, we want to add our DSP to the cover. So the smallest piece, the 3" by 1" piece, is going to go on the very top. So the very top are these two smaller sections, and then the bottom or the front is your largest section. So you can see how it folds in a rectangle. So if it's stood up like this, the top part is going to be your smallest piece. So we're going to apply, I'm just going to use some Stampin'. You can use seal on this here. And then the next largest piece, which is 3 by 1 1/4, we're going to apply to the front flap. And then the bottom flap, we want to make sure that we adhere this to the bottom section because this is going to be hidden by that flap. So make sure that you start from the bottom edge to apply that third piece, which is your 3 by 1 3/4 inch piece. Okay, so it's going to go together like this. All right, now for the inside. We simply unfold it. You can bring back in your Concertina piece, and take off your tear and tape. I like to fold these two pieces in so that I can see where I'm lining it up. So my adhesive is on the back. This is my front cover, and this is the section where this is going to go. So I'm just going to line it up, top to bottom, left to right, and give it a good press down. So now you can see how that opens up like that. So if we were to close it, you can see how the box is displayed. Okay, so now let's put our tea bag holders together. Remember, we've got 4 of those with our DSP. And you don't really need a bone folder when you're using DSP. So we're going to fold each side and fold in the middle on that score line. And we're going to do that for all 4. If you want to use your bone folder, like I said, I love using a bone folder and creasing paper. The hardest part about doing this project is figuring out what DSP to use because there's so many choices. Now this paper does have an orientation to it, so when I put these in, we want to make sure that they kind of make sense and not upside down. So keep that in mind as well. And please make sure that when you make this project, snap a picture and post it in the comments so that we can all see what you've made, the designs that you've decided to use, the embellishments. We love to see it all. We love to share here. So you can, again, use either Stampin' Seal Plus or tear and tape. I'm going to use tear and tape. And all you need to do is apply tear and tape to half of each side of the tea bag. Okay. Pretty simple so far, right, guys? I have a lot of May birthdays, a lot of friends with May birthdays. So some lucky person, I actually have a coworker, her birthday is coming up, and she is going to get one of these with a birthday card. And again, these are very easy to make. The hardest part is figuring out what paper to use. All right, and then we are simply going to fold these together. So remove your tear and tape. And you want to pinch it together down at the bottom and just kind of gently line it up so that those sides match, so you don't get anything wonky, and press it down. Give it a nice press. And now you've got your little envelope. Pinch it at the bottom and line up the sides, pinch together, and give it a quick burnish. One of my favorite things to do with Stampin' Up! Products is make 3D projects. If you guys seen me on the craft days, previous craft days, you know that I love origami and I love 3D projects. Okay, our last one. A quick burnish again. I'm going to move these out of the way. And now we've got our 4 tea bags. And we just need a little bit more tear and tape to put these together. I'm going to use the teapots for the front. So you're going to want to make sure, like, again, if you've got paper with an orientation to it, so when we folded this in half, one side is upright and then the other side is upside down, I want to make sure that I apply the tear and tape to the correct side of this paper when I'm adding it to my concertina. So I want this to be my first tea pouch, and that gets attached like this. So I want to make sure that I put my tear and tape on the front of this side of the paper. So correct orientation, tear and tape goes on the bottom. And I'm going to add it, just kind of stand it up here, not stick it yet, but stand it up. Make sure I'm even from left to right. I'm pushed all the way down as if it were standing up, and I'm just gonna give it a good press. So you can see how that goes like this. Now the next two, I'm going to add one of these yellow pieces. So it doesn't really matter what side of the paper that I'm working on. I'm going to do alternating patterns. So, because there's no seams on these tea bag holders, so it doesn't really matter with that regard. I'm going to apply this to this side of the concertina piece. So again, lining up left to right, and simply pinching it to get the glue on. Now I'm going to do another tea bag on the back side of this center concertina piece. So I'm going to be using this one. Again, its orientation is portrait, so I'm going to apply my tear and tape on the front of that piece. And that bottom edge. Standing it up, lining it up from right to left, and giving it a good pinch. And then last but not least, make sure you're also putting it on the edge that is closed. Don't make that mistake. Last but not least, we have the last concertina piece here, and we're going to attach it to the inside piece. So again, if you wanted to add extra tea bags, you could do it in a couple different ways. You might be able to get away with adding another tea bag on both sides of the front and back concertina piece, or you can probably add 2 tea bags in each pouch, depending on how thick your tea bags are. You can see that because of that divider, you kind of have a front section and a back section. It might make it a little bulky, so I've put it in the back section and then another one in the front section. So it just depends how thick your tea bags are when you put it in there. So you'll have to kind of do some trial and error on your tea bags. But again, these are twining tea bags, and they measure 3 inches by 2 5/8. So that's what this is based on. So essentially, this is finished except for our closure. And again, you can choose a couple different ways to close these. You can use Velcro dots. You could use little magnets, which I've done in the past. But if you don't have any of those extra supplies, then just use your cardstock and a die cut or a punch, like I've done here, to secure it closed, or simply a piece of beautiful ribbon. So we're going to do a little bit of die cutting to close this up and a wee bit of stamping. So I am going to be using the die cut. I'm going to choose, again, the teacup. So I want the pattern with the leaves on it. And then I want the solid teacup because they're going to get overlaid like that. And I'm going to need a slice of lemon. So I need the die cut for the lemon. And I want a little tea bag tag. These are so cute, aren't they? So in this set, the cup of tea, there are lots of different sentiments, and some of them are super tiny. So I want this sentiment, enjoy, that fits in the smallest tea bag. You can see there's a couple different tea bags or tags. It's the very, very smallest one that fits in. So let's do a little bit of stamping. I just have a scrap of basic white, and I want a lemon slice, so I've chosen Daffodil Delight with my lemon slice stamp. And then I want Enjoy out of Tahitian Tide. I love this turquoise color. And then I'm going to run these through the die cut machine. Along with, I want a scrap of Starry Sky for my solid teacup. And then I want Sweet Sorbet to be my leaf overlay. So let me go run these through the die cut. And voila! We've got these pieces here. Now I'm going to use a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue to glue the top section together. You don't need a whole lot of glue for this. Just a little dot here and there. So there is some kind of small edges here, but it's okay. You don't need a lot. and you don't need it all over. Another option, you could use an adhesive sheet and cut that out, and then it would be a sticker on the back. That makes it very easy. And then you're just gonna line this up over top. And press it down. Simple, simple. I thought that was going to be really tedious, and I thought, oh, this is just really very easy. All right, so we've got our Enjoy, and we've got our lemon slice. Now let's put this together. So we're going to need some Stampin' Dimensionals, the regular size and the minis, or if you don't have the minis, you can certainly just cut pieces of the bigger ones. And first, I need a little bit of glue for the lemon slice. I'm just going to apply it right at the edge, just a little bit, not on all of it, because I want this to sort of hang off my cup a little. And for the Enjoy, I'm going to use one of the mini glue dots, or the mini Stampin' Dimensionals. So cute. Okay, so when you put the dimensionals on the back of your teacup to get this to close, you want to make sure that you are only applying the dimensionals so far up so that you have room for the box lid to slide down. Because if you put them up too far, then you won't be able to slide it down, and then your cover won't close. So just keep that in mind. I like to put it down on the surface, make sure that it's fully square, and kind of give it an eyeball of where I need to put that. And it's honestly, you can see the borders of the paper if you've lined them up evenly on the bottom edges. No more, you don't want to put the Stampin' Dimensionals above the upper part of that DSP on the bottom panel. So that's a really good guide. So you can either put the dimensionals on the paper if you're really good at that, or kind of eyeball it here, kind of right across where the handle, the top part of this handle is. And then one on the bottom, but nothing on the top. This tucks in just like that to close. Perfect. So there you have it. A lovely, lovely tea bag holder for your favorite friend, teacher, co-worker, and you can put our tea bags in. If you're creative, color coordination is a big thing for me, so find some tea bags out there. There's tons of them that probably coordinate with some of our colors. I also did a Bigelow. So Bigelow and Twinings seem to have the same size tea bags. So if you're shopping by brand, Tazo tea, I believe, is the same size as these as well. Tazo tea is one of my favorite teas. Got one more here. And that closes up. You can add some additional embellishments as well, maybe some rhinestones or those brass butterflies, something. You can also jazz it up like that. I have also made a birthday card to go along with it to coordinate. So again, this is from the 6x6 Designer Series paper pack. Of course, some vellum for the little saucer. The leaves were stamped and then die cut with the coordinating die. So these leaves coordinate with the die like this. And then these flowers and buds have one die that coordinates with them. So you cut them all out at one time. So that's really nice. You also have a lemon. So if you wanted to do a 3D lemon wedge, like I did here on this card, I simply stamped the lemon on white cardstock with Daffodil Delight. And then I took Daffodil Delight cardstock and cut out the lemon wedges, which cuts out all the lemon wedges separately. And then I simply glued it over top just to give it a little bit of dimension. Added one of those flowers that I cut out here. I love that it cuts out 5 at a time. And then the happy birthday and this kind of spiral bound notebook strip. I just love that look. That comes from the Happiness Abounds stamp set. I love these greetings in here. Just simply, it looks like you wrote it, and it's cursive writing, so it can be tied in with the tea bundle as well, because it has a little bit of cursive writing along with the print version. So these two work very well together. And then this is one of the border dies from the Blossoming Happiness dies. That is in this suite as well, the Hues of Happiness full suite. So you can get those as a bundle as well and save some money. And you can see these dies have 2 strips that look like this, and you might not know what they're for. So the one that has the little dashes cut out the top of my sentiment banner, and you'll notice I did this wrong the first time, so my mistakes we all learn from. So when I laid this down, you'll see that it has the dashes, but it also has a straight line. This is, you want to line this up on the top part of your paper. Not on the bottom, or it will cut it off. And then this one, same thing, but this is like those little holes at the top of a spiral bound notebook. So this is another set I loved, and they work really well together. Okay. So I think that is it. I hope that you like my projects today. And I would love to see what you guys are making with your designer series paper. Show me in the comments, take some photos, but hope you enjoyed my project today, and thanks for crafting with us today. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.